Good morning, little nerds. If you are not new here, you know what to do. Get your pens and papers out, get your asses out of bed. It's Saturday morning, it's time to learn. But if you are new here, you might be asking yourself, who the hell is she? I am Dr. Shereene Idriss, a board certified dermatologist. I am based in New York City and I see patients every single day of the week, Monday through Friday. But Saturday, I do this for fun. I made a promise to you and to myself to show up every Saturday, so here we are. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe below. You're about to learn a hell of a lot. And if you haven't yet liked this video, what's wrong with you? Like the video and comment below what it is you want to learn more about next week. Starting right now, we are going to go and dive in deep into the sunscreen world to understand how best to choose the right sunscreen for you. How do you choose the best sunscreen for your skin type? Because most often than not, people ask me, is mineral better than chemical? And that question gets under my skin, not because you don't know, but because there's this assumption that mineral sunscreens are better than chemical sunscreens. And I think it's because chemical sunscreens are called chemical sunscreens. But if we had called them organic sunscreens, you guys would have been very excited about that, because guess what mineral sunscreens are? Inorganic. And the reality is one is not necessarily better than the other. And there's actually a third class of sunscreens that nobody really talks about, but the hybrid sunscreen that mixes both of the chemical and the mineral filters together. We're going to talk a little bit about that as we go into this video. The three main factors that you should be thinking about when choosing the sunscreen for you is, number one, what is your skin type? Are you on the oilier side or are you on the drier side? Do you have combination skin or are you acne prone skin? And I think those are things you really do have to think about. The most important one though is, are you sensitive? Because if you are sensitive, at least in the US, you might want to veer towards mineral sunscreens or hybrids, because the traditional chemical filters that we have in the US can be irritating to the eyes. Number two, what is your lifestyle and your environment? And no, I don't mean emotional environment, I mean climate. Are you in a humid environment or a dry environment? Because the humidity factor around you is going to influence how your skin and your skin type reacts. But also, what is your lifestyle? Are you wearing a lot of makeup? Are you actually outside? Are you living in a city? Are you going from building to building? Or are you spending most of your days outside doing whatever it is people do outside? You can tell that I haven't really been outside much. Number three, your skin tone. Are you on the lighter end of the spectrum or the darker end of the spectrum? And do you have a lot of sun damage, sunspots, melasma, etc.? Because the reality is, unfortunately, we haven't done much progress when it comes to mineral sunscreens blending in seamlessly on the skin, and it's because they're mineral sunscreens. They're harsher ingredients to actually blend in. But hopefully things are getting better, and I have a few options in this video that I test out on my dear colleague, Tiffany, and I'll be posting some of the videos of her testing out swatches on her arm. So let's start with dry skin, shall we? Because that is the place to start. Sunscreen that I recently discovered while on vacation this past April is Dr. Jart's Every Sunday Sun Fluid. This is SPF 50. It is a chemical sunscreen. What I love about this is that when you first apply it, you think it's a little bit thicker and you're like, ooh, but then it just melts into your skin, leaving your skin feeling very lightly hydrated, but just refreshed, quenched, and not sticky. This one I was debating whether or not to include it in the roundup for oily skin as well, but I do think there is a more of a moisturizing effect to this, so that is why I put it on the dry skin side of the video. It is an SPF 50. It retails for 44 bucks. Ultraviolet is a brand that has been around in Australia for quite some time and internationally. I have been hearing some chirpings that it is going to be coming to the US, but this one, their SPF 50 Ultraviolet Supreme Screen for $52 is one of my favorites. It is a hybrid sunscreen. It has Tinazorb M, which is technically both a chemical and a physical filter. It is thicker in appearance, and this one is going to leave your skin feeling very much quenched in terms of hydration while protecting your skin from anything that you see. The third one, which I have spoken about at length, and the price cannot be beat, is the Beauty of Joshan. This is a $10 sunscreen with SPF 50. It is a hybrid. It does not burn my eyes. I love this for winter. Why? Because if you have dry skin and you're in a dry environment, this is a beautiful sunscreen that leaves you feeling hydrated without making your eyes burn or feel like you want to rip them out. It literally just hydrates your skin. It doubles as a moisturizer, and it is lightweight and not greasy at all. But do not be surprised at the lightweight feel to it because it does leave your skin feeling hydrated. When we go into the hotter, more humid months, I tend to veer a little bit away from it because it feels a little bit too heavy on my skin. But in drier climates, for dry skin, it is great for the face. So those are probably the 3 top sunscreens that I would tell you to use for your face going into summer. And they're all above SPF 50, which is great. Moving on to oily skin. One that I hear a lot about from my patients. Oh, I'm oily. I don't like wearing sunscreens because I feel like it makes me oilier. It often leaves this like shiny residue on my face. So I try to round up some sunscreens that will not make you feel shiny. Starting with this one, which I have received as a gift. It was a sunscreen from the Far East. It's Skin Aqua Tone Up UV Essence SPF 50. This has a PA4+. It is a hybrid of chemical and titanium dioxide. The interesting thing about this, I think this was bought in Japan, is that it does leave you a tiny bit whiter in appearance. And I think they have that in order to basically make your skin appear more homogeneous. For some people though, I think it can leave a little bit of a white cast, so just be aware. But it's very lightweight. Don't feel like you have something heavy left behind. It's $7, okay? I also think it might have hyaluronic acid. So if you are somebody who's very sensitive to it, let this be the only product that has hyaluronic acid in your roundup. Number 2 is Can Make Mermaid Skin Gel UV. This looks like it's a toy that belongs in your toddler's box. It has SPF 50. It is a hybrid of zinc, titanium, and chemical sunscreen. Patients who are oily tend to love it because like this, it just disappears. It's very light. You hardly see anything. It feels like water on your skin. It's a gel UV that disappears in a couple of swirls on your face. It's fragrance free, and if you are sensitive around your eyes, it might be good for you as well because it is one that is made in Japan, so they're using those international filters. If you're looking for something US based, my colleague Dr. David Kim, and I am not invested in his company, I get nothing from his company whatsoever. He's created a beautiful sunscreen known as Lightsaver. This is a mineral whipped sunscreen at SPF 33. And this is great if you have oily skin. It is extremely mattifying and it does have a little bit of a tint to it, but it blends in and you feel like your skin just gets matte after you use it. And I've put this on top of many different sunscreens underneath, so you could just kind of see, it just kind of mattifies your skin and you do not feel oily or like a shiny ice skating rink when you use it. It retails for $45. It is fragrance free and it is completely mineral based. So if you have sensitive eyes, it might work better for you. But a note about sensitive eyes, I have personally noticed that you have to check also the preservative system because oftentimes it's that irritates your eyes and not just the sunscreen filters. But it's a trial and error situation, so you got to test them out and see how you feel. And then we have Kiehl's. Kiehl's came out with this Better Screen UV serum at SPF 50, but do not be fooled by the fact that it is a serum. You do want to use it last in your routine, and you got to make sure that you have enough on your face. It's a little bit annoying to apply because you have to pump them like that, but that is sort of how you want to do it, is create these tiny little pumps in order to make sure you get your right finger length. I'm gonna have to rub this on my foot because that's gonna be too much sunscreen for my hands. And then God knows I'm gonna touch my eyes and then I'll be a puffy eye mess. But I have my depuffer to depuff me, so that might help. But anyway, this is SPF 50. It is a chemical sunscreen serum, but again, use it last. Do not use it like you would use a serum and then apply a moisturizer on top. Let this be the last thing that you apply to your face. Switching gears then now to sensitive skin. Like I mentioned, mineral sunscreens with zinc and titanium might work better for you, but oftentimes it's also the preservative system that affects your sensitivity. So you might think, wait, I'm using a mineral sunscreen, but my eyes just got completely effed. It might not just be the fact that it's a mineral sunscreen, it might be the preservative system. So in addition to Lightsaver, a couple other ones that are really nice if you have sensitive eyes. This one just came out and I'm quite excited about it, although unfortunately they only have 2 shades, but the In Beauty Project has their Mineral Sun Glow at SPF 43. This retails for $35. It is PA3+, and they currently have 2 shades. It reminds me of Supergoop's Glow Screen, which I love, I loved more because at one point I was not sensitive to it, and then one day I touched my eyes and they nearly fell off. So I stopped using it because it burns my eyes. But I loved the way it made my skin feel like I had a highlighter on and I felt nice and like a disco ball, okay? Some people like it, some people don't. This kind of reminds me of that. Now, obviously this is the wrong shade. This is medium deep, but I wanna show you guys how it leaves that sort of a la Supergoop glow screen. Clearly this is not the right shade for me at all, but do you guys see the gold kind of tint that it leaves on your skin? So I might actually use this on my legs, given how white my legs are. They're much whiter than my face. It might be a nice glow effect for your body if you're going out. So that is their Mineral Sun Glow. It is completely mineral based and it is actually very nice. Ultraviolet also has an SPF 50 lean screen mineral mattifying sunscreen, which is UVA and UVB broad spectrum. This one over here, it's the purple top. The other one was the yellow one. This also has a little bit of a tint to it. And you guys can see it does not have any sort of glow, unlike my right hand, which is much darker than the rest of my body at the moment. Okay, so those are good ones for sensitive skin and sensitive eyes. Moving on to if you have a lot of sun damage, or if you have melasma, or if you have pigmentary problems in your skin, which sunscreens are nice? Peter Thomas Roth has his Max Vitamin D Fence SPF 50 with vitamin D in it. It also has vitamin B5 antioxidants as well to help protect your skin. This is retailing for $42. It is formulated with coenzyme Q10 and it is surprisingly creamy in texture. So if you have pigmentary problems, this one might not be bad to look towards. This one over here can also help. Plus, it was lavender toned, which helps block the appearance of any sort of discoloration on your skin, which leads me to my third sunscreen, which is Isntree Purple Protector. You guys are going to notice that purple tints help to diffuse any sort of discoloration on your skin. This one is SPF 40. It is a chemical sunscreen. It is purple in appearance, as you guys can see over here, and it has allantoin and red onion extract to help even out skin tone. Allantoin and skin tone, it all works together. But you guys see that? It evens out your skin tone. It helps blur the discoloration and evens out your skin tone. Moving on, pigmentation with brown discoloration is one thing, but discoloration with redness is another thing. And Dr. Jart has his Tiger Grass Cicapair sunscreen at SPF 30. Retails for $54. This is not going to be great for all skin tones. It's just not, okay? But the darker you are, the less likely you are to see visible redness. So I can understand why also it's not that big of an issue for darker skin tones because they don't see redness so much. But if you are extremely pale and you have a lot of redness coming through, this might be nice because it just blocks it. Obviously, it looks crazy on my hand. Very thick. Very thick. It is mineral based. It feels like paste. I will tell you, after a laser treatment, like a Fraxel, I haven't had one in 2 years. I did like this sunscreen a lot because it minimized the redness from the treatment. So if you have a microneedling treatment or ablative Fraxel or something, it's a nice sunscreen to use to block that redness that appears on your skin. And now moving into darker skin tones, the safest bet for darker skin tones is going to be to use chemical sunscreens because they are much more elegant in terms of meshing in with your tone. But if you are somebody who does not want to use a chemical sunscreen for whatever reason, or if you have sensitive skin, mineral ones like the First Aid Beauty Weightless Sunscreen with Zinc Oxide SPF 30 is a nice one. I'm gonna have Tiffany over here demonstrate it on her skin. It's not for all skin tones, but it's something. Tatcha is another one that patients have told me about specifically. They've just repackaged, thank God. I hated their old packaging. This is an SPF 50. It's their silk sunscreen. And this one retails for $60 and it is zinc oxide based. I'm gonna also have Tiffany test it out because it really doesn't make any difference for me to show it to you because I am so pale. My patients of darker skin tones have told me specifically about these two. The other one they also mentioned to me once was the Peter Thomas Roth mineral weightless one that they like as well. Black Girl Sunscreen is another one, but I don't hear about them as much anymore. So those are sunscreens for darker skin tones. Now, in terms of tinted sunscreens that offer shades, okay, Laura Mercier. I use this almost every day, especially in the winter when I don't need necessarily a high sunscreen. The UV index is less than 3. They're illuminating. Skin Illuminator Broad Spectrum SPF 25 is what I use in wintertime when the UV index is low. SPF 25 is low though for summer, so you need to not just rely on this if you're going to be outside. But they have over 20 shades and it's nice for everyday use. If you are living in a city and going from building to building and you go to work at 8 a.m. and you leave at 6 p.m., you probably can still get away with using this in the summer. But if you're sitting by a window or going out during the day or kind of like, very mobile in that sense, it might not be enough. So think about your lifestyle. But it's very nice. It's very easy. It is a chemical sunscreen and it does not burn my eyes. So I'm going with it. Supergoop has their Protect Tint Daily SPF Tint at 44. It's chemical. Each time I read the word ectoin, I mess up the next word. It has ectoin in it to defend from oxidative damage and it comes in 14 different shades. It is very, very lightweight. If this is going to be your only sunscreen that you are using, make sure to apply enough, which is 2 full fingers for your full face. But I want to show you, I say that because it's light and you want to make sure that you are getting enough of this in order to get the right coverage, okay? And then IT Cosmetics has their CC Plus Natural Matte SPF 40, which is matte coverage, which is also good for for oily skin. And this comes in 30 different shades. She's thick, okay? She is very thick. I feel like IT Cosmetics loves to go thick and wrong and strong in many ways, but she's really thick. It borders on like heavy coverage makeup, but there are 30 different shades of this. This for me would be too much for everyday use, but some people who like it, instead of having to wear makeup in summer, it might be perfect for you. Quickly, when it comes to the body and going to the beach, Supergoop Play is a very easy everyday lotion that you can use on your body. You can use almost all of these on your body, but they're expensive. And so when consumers buy body products versus face products, you're getting more in the body, obviously. I don't know. It's not as expensive as it is for the face. I think they don't put as many vitamins, antioxidants, etc. So this is their body sunscreen. It is chemical. It has burnt my eyes a few times, but not as consistently as, for example, their glow screen. Color Science has a mineral sunscreen as well for the body, which is nice because it's harder to find mineral sunscreens for the body, forms of lotions. So Color Science is one that has it, and they have a bronzed one as well, which gives you a shimmery glow. Of mineral sunscreens that come in a spray, I'm obsessed with the one by Sunbum. Yes, you look like a ghost. Yes, you look really white when it comes out. It's the white bottle, the white mineral sunscreen spray. It smells like heaven, so that's a plus. Get to physically see where you are applying the sunscreen. I am not a massive fan of sunscreen sprays because I think there is some false purity there where people think they sprayed themselves but they didn't get enough. With this, you physically see the white lines coming out of the spray can on the body. So it's a very easy one to see where you're applying and to get enough coverage with. But you will look like a ghost with that one as well. You'll smell lovely though, but you'll look like a ghost. Vacation has their whipped sunscreen, which was honestly the only sunscreen my husband was willing to put on his body on our last vacation because he loved the texture of the sunscreen. He also loves whipped cream and he loves food and he loves desserts. I think he almost thought he could eat it until he realized he could not. But the whipped sunscreen by Vacation, if you have somebody who is sunscreen averse and they just don't like applying sunscreen, or if you have kids who are just like always rolling their eyes, it could be a fun one for them to use to actually get them to use their sunscreen at the vacation on the beach. But you will go through a can like that. It finishes pretty fast if you're using the right amount. So make sure to be aware that you're always using the right amount. And with that, we did a sunscreen roundup of 20 plus sunscreens for you and the best sunscreen for your skin type. I hope you found this video helpful. I hope it was helpful to see the textures, to see the differences in the sunscreens, and to understand what you're using and why. As always, if you have any questions below, let me know. You guys can also ask me on Instagram at Shereene Idriss. You can DM me there. All right, you guys, wishing you a beautiful weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and you know what? Practice sun safe measures. I will see you guys next week.